So section 12, we had this question, what were the characteristics of the Gupta Empire? Why did it fall? So remember, Gupta, first of all, is an Indian empire. They had a Hindu government, but one that was tolerant towards Buddhism. One thing that was really cool they did was they developed what we call Arabic numerals. You may say, well, how did Indians develop Arabic numerals? The answer is they developed the basic numbers, and then later on, the Arabs improved on them, and we got them from the Arabs, so we call them Arabic numbers. But they actually originated in India, and they also developed the concept of zero, which of course is very important mathematically, right? You can't do a whole lot without zero. However, what led to their fall was that they were being invaded by the Xiongnu, the Huns, the people that Mulan fought, if you watched the Disney movie. They were fighting with them, and even though they were able to eventually defend themselves, it so weakened their empire that later on they would fall apart. What is the story of the Ramayana? Why is it important? This is one of my favorite stories that we talked about in class, the Ramayana. Remember, it's literally the story of Rama. This is Rama, this guy here. And remember, in that story, his wife was kidnapped by the demon king, and then along with the help of his faithful monkey companion, there was a monkey in this, that's why I liked it. With the help of his faithful monkey companion, he was able to defeat the demons and get his wife back. And then he established his own city and then ruled India for a time, and India enjoyed a golden age under his rulership. Now that's a story, there's a good chance it's fictional. However, the Guptas claimed that they found his city. Right? They said, we found his city, the city of Ayodhya. It's kind of interesting. Well, I'll go more into that detail, but they claim to have found his city, and that allowed them to connect their government to his government. They said, just like Rama was attacked and his wife was kidnapped by these evil demons, we're fighting these evil demonic Xiongnu. And just like Rama, we're going to defeat them. And then just like Rama, we'll establish a golden age in India once we have done defeating them. Right? So by drawing this connection with this story, the Guptas were able to emphasize, how they were going to struggle and fight and eventually defeat the invader. They did, of course, succeed in defeating the invader. It's just unfortunately that weakened them. They weren't able to establish a golden age. Now, and you'll also remember from the video we watched, this is still important today. Indians still enjoy watching this program. Unfortunately, sometimes some Indians interpret this to this kind of battle against foreigners, against demons, and they apply it to Muslim Indians and attack them, which is unfortunate and of course should not be done. What were the characteristics of Islamic expansion to India? Why did some Indians embrace Islam? Why did others reject it? So Muslims would expand into northwest India, right? Islam would spread into Persia, and then into Afghanistan, and then into India. And they started Muslims initially raided into India. They were able to justify doing this because Hinduism has many gods, and Islam teaches you should only worship one God. So they could say, okay, it's okay for us to attack them because they're following a bad religion. And eventually what these Islamic forces figured out was that the area in northwest India was fairly weak, and they didn't, in addition to just raiding it, they could just take it completely over. Right? When you raid someplace, you come in, you steal stuff, and you leave. They said, oh, these guys are weak, we can actually just come in and take it over, and that is eventually what they did. So this area in northwestern India will eventually be conquered by Muslim forces. This is very bad for Buddhism. That was their heartland. That's where they had a bunch of universities and a bunch of monasteries, and Buddhism will become extraordinarily weak because of that. But the Buddhists will just accept that. They don't rebel or anything like that. Hindus in higher varnas, like the priests and the warriors, will generally resist becoming Muslim. They'll say, we don't want to become Muslim. We're happy with our religion. We don't like you because you were saying bad things about us and you came in and attacked us. However, people in the lower varnas, some of them were attracted because Islam teaches that all Muslims are equal. And these lower people in lower varnas said, well, this is kind of a good deal, right? If we believe in this new religion, instead of being told that we're bad, the reason why are you a peasant? Well, you're a peasant because you had bad karma and you deserve to be a peasant. Whereas we people on top in the higher varnas were superior to you. Islam taught, we're all of us Muslims are equal. Well, if you're someone who's on bottom, this call of equality is attractive. So many of these lower Hindus who were lower varna, peasants and so forth, were willing to convert to Islam. Let's see, how did India influence Southeast Asia? Well, Indian merchants went out trading. Buddhist missionaries and Hindu priests went along with them. Right, so the Indians don't just stay in India, they're going to spread around. and they will bring their own form of Buddhism. You don't have to remember this, but we talked, well, I mean, you don't have to remember the term, Theravada Buddhism. That's the form of Buddhism they spread. It's different from Chinese-style Buddhism, but they spread their own form of Buddhism, and that form of Buddhism is popular in places like Thailand and Cambodia. They don't practice Chinese-style Buddhism there. I cut it from this, but just to give you an example, one thing that's interesting, you're probably familiar with the elephant head god, Ganesh, from Hinduism. If you go to Thailand, you see that everywhere. Right? They borrowed Ganesh, but you don't see that in China because they didn't follow that kind of Buddhism. So Indian religion and culture will spread in Southeast Asia, and the big example I wanted you to give of Indian culture and spreading was the story of the Ramayana, right? This is the picture of Hanuman, the monkey, and his monkey army. I took this picture myself in a Thai palace. Right? It's not in India, it was in Thailand. And then there's Rama right there, and all the kings of, I told you, all the kings since the 18th century from Thailand have all been named Rama. And it's in reference to the Ramayana and this idea of defending themselves from foreigners. So that